If we became energy independent, our trade deficit would shrink, our foreign policy would change, we would not be funding enemies. Where would they get their money? And we can't get there alone. And the key thing that we have to also do when we do this, we have to have an infrastructure delivery. So you do need nuclear facilities. You do need the ability for geothermal. You do need the ability for oil. And I'm all for allowing any new forms to be able to go and compete. You don't have to pick winners and losers by government, though. You let science determine that. But I do believe in building an infrastructure. Because if you're able to produce it, this is the problem that's happening in North Dakota today. You know this little pipeline we talk about building, but the president says no? That's what would send people down, because when was the last time we built a new refinery? We've only closed them. Now our price of oil is going up because of a fire, because you have so few of them. So they have to ship it all the way down. Now you either have to truck it, because you won't build the pipeline. That creates American jobs. And what's Canada going to do? They're going to send their oil to China. A key factor, if we want to become strong again and be self-sufficient, is a true energy policy. With this Arab Spring, the Muslim Brotherhood is more organized than all the others. I'm a firm believer in democracy. I'm a firm believer in republic. But when you just swoop this on individuals that have never had this before, the ones that are most organized win. Remember what happened in Iran when they took us hostage? They said they were going to have this democracy, right? And what did they get? I look at what has transpired in Egypt, and it scares me. For a long time, in Israel, they didn't have to worry about Egypt. They had this good relationship. Now they have to build a new wall all the way down to Sinai. The missiles that are coming in. That is a challenge to where we go. Their beliefs that I've seen in the past, I don't know how quickly they change, but they don't have the same beliefs that I believe in from our Constitution. I'm very fearful of their ability to win these elections throughout the Middle East, take a stronghold there, and have a new alliance of something that would go against what America believes. I'll give you my day. Woke up this morning, I took a shower. You realize when I turned on the water, I paid a water tax? I get in my car, I fill it up with gas, I pay a gasoline tax. Stop off at the store, buy coffee or something else, I pay a tax for that. Go to work, first 3 hours just pays for the taxes. Come home, I hope somehow the TV filmed me, so I turn on the TV to watch myself, I pay a cable tax. Really, I watch the Olympics. Lo and behold, if Judy and I are successful enough and we put some money away for Megan and Connor and we die, we pay an inheritance tax. If we're fortunate enough to take a family vacation, pay an airplane tax, pay a tax on the rental car, check in a hotel, we pay an occupancy tax. We're taxed from the morning we wake up till we go at night. And the only answer that this administration has is to tax you more. I believe quite the opposite. And it proof happens. If you're allowed to keep more of your money, what do? You spend it. Who spends it more efficiently? You or government? Your wife, yeah. But think for a moment. This idea of Obamacare, is that what you really want? The compassion of the IRS with the delivery service of the post office doing your health care? They put new taxes in there as well. As long as we're the majority in the House, and I happen to be the majority whip, I'll guarantee you I'll whip till I win. That will never pass. So let's walk through what the President has offered and what we have offered. Okay, what the President proposes, let's just think of all the actions. The first thing the President says, if you have your health care today and you like it, you can keep it. Well, the study shows that's not true. He said he will not add one dime to the deficit. Well, he's going to add 1.5 trillion. He's going to tax for 10 years, but only invoke it for 6. He's going to have 15 people who are unelected. They're going to have the power to tell what's going to happen in Medicare. The number of small businesses are going to have to roll off. He's going to dictate to who would happen. Now, what is our offer? What is our plan? Well, first and foremost, I look at what's the biggest challenge in healthcare? The rising cost. Have you ever analyzed what is the biggest reason for the rising cost? Well, there's been studies, and you know the number one reason? The defense of medicine. The doctors have to play. So if you go in, and they know what's wrong with you, but they make you do a lot of tests because they're afraid of being sued. Is there any malpractice reform inside Obamacare? Trial lawyers won that day. So we propose tort reform. If I can look on TV and I can call a gecko to get my car insurance, and it's not in California, why can't I do the same for my health insurance? Why can't you compete? Now in Congress, this is what you provide. You are all my bosses. You provide me a salary, and then you provide me a set amount of money for my health care. And then what we do is, just like anybody else that's a federal employee here, you have the same as us. You go into all these plans, you get to take the money that you have, and you get to pick which one you want. Some cost more than others, you pay the difference. You know what Judy and I did when our kids were younger? We looked for the plans that would cover braces. We looked for the plans that covered our pediatrician. Now that the kids are older, we look for the plans that cover things that we need. We're breaking down. That's a choice. When I go and I look at my television, the football's coming up, I want to buy a football package for my team. That's my choice, right? Why shouldn't you have that choice in healthcare? Why should government pick for you? The other thing that happens in this process, why should insurance companies pick for you? Why shouldn't you have the relationship with your doctor and you decide? That is the fundamental difference. The other thing that I see a number of small businesses saying they won't be able to stay in business. That shouldn't be the case. So what we do, those who don't have the resources to do it, government's going to be able to do it. But we're not going to change everybody else that has health care now because they can't make it. We're going to give them options as well. Because I'm a firm believer that you and your doctor should make the decisions, not government. Let me give you one personal example. Did you read the paper and you read KMC, the local healthcare provider for those injured? Do you realize where they went to the Board of Supervisors and they got turned down for another loan? They tell you why? They said because of Obamacare they haven't been able to get their payments yet. I disagree with the Supreme Court. I respect their decision, but I disagree with their decision. I don't think government can tell me everything I have to do and just tax me if I don't do it right. When did it become in America negative to be successful? You know, the thing we offer, opportunity to all, that doesn't mean everybody gets the same result. It's what you put into it. You want to create a country that has the opportunity. Somebody applies themselves more, they're going to do more. It's their basis. And I'm not for lowering everybody, I'm for raising everybody up. I mean, that's the greatness of this country. Each generation has improved on the last one. That's the best ability that we have. I think the best thing that could happen in America is that you just go line by line. We ask every business to have an audit. As taxpayers, aren't we the shareholders of America? Where's our audit? And you know what? We're going to have to make decisions. If we're going to borrow money all the time, is it the best use to borrow money from some country and go give it back to them? And we pay interest on it? I think if we could go line by line, and I go back to this point. When they requested Paul Ryan to be the VP, that gave me optimism. Because that's a guy that knows the budget and knows line by line. And I'll tell you this, there's fault on both sides of the aisle. I watch the Republicans were all in control, spending too much. So that's why I like line by line. I also like the idea, when we took the majority, we ended earmarks. Because you would find members all this money and you would build something not because it was the best location and best idea, but you just wanted to bring the money home because that's how they got reelected. Well, we have to borrow this money, so we want the best use of every dollar. I believe there's an option. We've gotten better, but we've got a long way to go. First and foremost, those that look to the Constitution. You've had 4 years of Obama. Are you better off? And make the first fundamental change. You're going to be in a ballot box in California. You know what government does with your money. Do you think they deserve to take more of it? No. No. You know what happens in a political process, how much money from unions and corporations. If you take the special interest out, you have a better playing field. That will be on the ballot. I think those three key factors will be the start. I'm not here to tell you it's going to happen overnight, but you got to give a playing field that it can happen. Okay, we got the tax increases happening that the president wants to put through, because you have the tax cuts expiring. You have probably another debt limit that's going to hit. Then we have sequestration. Does anybody in the room besides Cam know what sequestration is? Sequestration can cut our military. Now, we've looked at military and we've shrunk it, $497 billion. But this will cut $500 billion. Boom. Starting in January. The president hasn't laid any plan. What Republicans have done is we don't believe this is the way to go. We produced a budget that finds other places in government to cut, keeps our military strong. We produced a bill that the president, and we got it through the Senate, haven't signed it. The president now has to lay out where would he cut the military in a short amount of time. When you look at the military, you can't go across the board. That's like if I tell you, can you send 10% less to your house payment? What will they do to you? You cut programs. And you want to look. If sequestration goes through, we'll have the Navy the size that we had in World War I. This is a dangerous place we live. China is continuing to invest more. There's a reason why America should lead. And this is a play where the president's going. Now, we produced something to stop it, but this is going to happen in a short amount of time. That's why if we're able to capture all three, you're going to see in a short amount of time, from Obamacare to sequestration to stopping the tax hikes. Those three things have to happen quickly.
Thank you for watching this video, and thank you for spending some time in conservative company. Please feel free to leave a comment about this article or any article on my blog. I'd like to know what you think. You can also find me on Facebook.